Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about Resident Evil and Silent Hill because some very big leaks have come out both about RE9 and the next Silent Hill games. Not game, games. And I want to discuss this because I kind of have a feeling that these next entries, both what Konami is doing and what Capcom are doing, they're taking these seriously in a way that I think is going to be very important. But let's discuss. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So when I woke up this morning, a ton of subscribers, a bunch of people sent this to me, but apparently Silent Hill F is now rated in South Korea. Now, typically this way this works is that basically every country has some sort of ratings board, certifications, approvals. Basically, show us that if we release it here, it's not going to be, causing riots. Make sure it's not going to break consoles, that kind of thing. But for whatever reason, in South Korea specifically, there are always a lot of leaks. They post their stuff way before anybody else. In fact, a lot of remasters, remakes, and stuff end up leaking because of these listings, which a lot of times come out before the game is even announced. So I wanted to take a look at this because Dusk Golem made a couple public statements today. Now, this dude, he is the premier leaker about survival horror. He has posted alpha, beta, all sorts of crazy stuff about Resident Evil and Callisto Protocol and early builds of the Silent Hill 2 remake. And so I was curious because he was chiming in about this and he confirmed two separate things. One, he talks about the fact that if this is being posted, the game is still in development, but it's more finished than people probably expect. There's content complete version of the game. With content, Konami does not plan to change. So that's pretty interesting because it does show the fact that there were a bunch of leaks by Dusk Golem and other people that when Konami was working on the Silent Hill 2 remake, they were kind of terrified. They wanted Bloober Team to do their best, but also, let's face it, Silent Hill 2 is one of the best survival horror games of all time. It's psychological horror. It's made to give you nightmares and mess with you and make you kind of question reality. Silent Hill 2 is perfect, and somehow the remake, in my opinion, was even more perfect. I mean, it completely burned up the charts last year. And so the fact that Konami, that there were a lot of leaks, the fact that Konami is taking their time with a lot of this stuff because they want to rebuild the trust of the Silent Hill brand. Let's face it, there's been Silent Hill games. In fact, there's been more bad Silent Hill games than there's been good Silent Hill games. So it seems like they're hanging on to it to make sure they can drop it at a good time, and it is as polished and perfect as possible. But he does point out the fact that this does confirm something extra. It does confirm the fact that Silent Hill F is the actual name of the game, and there has been talks about the fact that this is the next mainline entry. This is essentially Silent Hill 9, and that's crazy to consider. But additionally, he does kind of say, temper your expectations. If you're expecting this to come out next week, it's not. In fact, we had leaks about Silent Hill: A Short Message. When that came out, that was actually leaked a year and a half in Korea before it came out. So it's good to know that Silent Hill F is seemingly almost done, but still probably a bit off. Now, here's the part of it that actually kind of hit me. Like, the rating, that's nice. We knew we were going to see it eventually. Here's the part that kind of struck me. I do think another Silent Hill transmission isn't too far off, by the way. I think news is mainly waiting for the upcoming Return to Silent Hill film to have a proper trailer ready to go. Patience is a virtue. Now, keep in mind, Silent Hill transmission is that special broadcast. We have like Nintendo Directs. There's rumors about a next upcoming PlayStation State of Play. There's the Xbox Developer Direct. Well, Konami has been doing these Silent Hill transmissions to kind of say, hey, here's what we're doing. Hey, here's the plan. And he says, essentially, patience is a virtue. Konami is not rushing Silent Hill projects. Along with this, it's ultimately a good thing. Rushing projects was sort of the mantra, the second era of Silent Hill, with things like Origins, Downpour famously being rushed a bit. Currently, Konami is trying to allow these games time to cook. I think Silent Hill 2 Remake benefited from that, so I say let them cook. Now, I think the talk about Silent Hill transmission, I've seen other people discussing Townfall. there is still those other mysterious projects. If they do a full-blown Silent Hill transmission, I do think there is a good chance that we're going to see Townfall again, which is apparently some other narrative experience. There is a lot of styles of Silent Hill all kind of happening, right? So we'll see if the new movie doesn't suck, if the games are as good as we hope. Maybe we're going to get some DLC for Silent Hill 2 Remake, which obviously the original game did have DLC, so that would be cool. But let's move on to this. So this is the leak that I'm less excited about because it's almost like an anti-leak. So there have been these rumors going around that I haven't talked about. I didn't make a video about it. I honestly wanted to, but I just didn't have a chance because I'm busy with the surgery coming up and stuff. But apparently, Resident Evil 9 is not going to be playing as Jill. There have been these leaked screenshots. There's been talks and stuff going around that apparently Jill Valentine was running around in the hospital. Maybe we see some sort of older, aged up version of Jill in a final game with RE9. Apparently, all of that is fake. He confirmed the fact that apparently Resident Evil 9, everything that's being floated around for the most part is complete BS. Now, the reason I find this to be interesting is that the two primary leaks we've had about RE9 is the fact that apparently it's open world, where we get a chance to have essentially an entire city, so we get to help out some people. Some people turn out to be evil or mind-controlled or monsters or infected. And the other leak is the fact that it sounds like we are going to be playing as Jill, perhaps seeing her, deal with the T-virus, kind of summing up a lot of storylines from the other games and maybe even the movies or the books and stuff like that. And it turns out that that is false. Now, I have to admit that I am disappointed about this just because I do like Jill Valentine, but also I'm curious, as a very old school Resident Evil fan, as a person who's playing them since literally they first came out, I'm super curious to see when we're going to start seeing new characters, when we're going to start seeing more stuff from, like, I don't know, Barry Burton or Sherry or Shiva from RE5 or something. I'm kind of curious to see those background characters. Billy from Resident Evil 0. I want to see other characters come back or more completely new stuff like what we had with Ethan Winters, where, God, I love that character so much. I'm curious to see if they start summing up particular storylines or what happens next. I think I'm in a spot where whatever Resident Evil 9 turns into, it's definitely going to be fantastic. I mean, every Resident Evil has been so good, but I think it's interesting as a horror fan right now that everything is getting better, in my opinion. Everything is improving. Everything is getting cooler. It's wild to see that Silent Hill is back. Silent Hill's getting multiple games that are actually good, or at least look actually good. Freaking Resident Evil's better than it's ever been. It's a very fun time to be into the spooky. But these have just been some off-the-cuff thoughts. How do you feel about the future of this stuff? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And how do you feel about, well, Jill not being an RE9? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.